Boxing Talk here. This is a video about Khabib Nurmagomedov. I've been saying for a very long time that Khabib Nurmagomedov does not deserve a title shot. I've been saying this for months. Go back to my previous videos. People think I'm a hater. It is what it is. I do my homework, and I really did my homework today. And I found out some interesting things about rankings in the past. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. But Khabib doesn't deserve a title shot. And on the flip side, Conor McGregor hasn't done enough at lightweight to deserve a title shot either. But Conor McGregor is a champion. Whether he's defended the title or not, he's a champion. He's the biggest star in the UFC, and he generates the most money by far in the history of the UFC. So, to make this fight, it's an easy fight to make for the people in charge of the UFC because Conor is the man. He's the guy. And he did beat Nate Diaz, who's ranked number 4 at lightweight. Khabib's never beat a 4th ranked guy at lightweight, ever. He's beat a 5th ranked guy and a 10th ranked guy. Khabib's only ever beat 2 ranked fighters in the UFC, but yet he deserves a title shot. How do you become number 1 contender when you only beat the 5th ranked guy and the 10th ranked guy? Not to mention, he's been extremely inactive the last 2.5 years. So how the fuck did he bump up to the number 1 contender? Explain me that. I'd love for someone to explain me that in the comment section. Okay? It's probably a big part to do with it is because he beat RDA like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now. He beat RDA. It was like April of 2014. RDA becomes champion, and then that's when Khabib went up the list. But he never fucking earned it. Now we'll start off from the beginning. His first UFC fight, Khabib Nurmagomedov beats Shaloris, not a ranked opponent, of course. It's his UFC debut. Then he fights Gleison Tibau, not ranked. Then he gets a TKO win over Tavares, another not ranked opponent. Then he beats Trujillo, another not ranked opponent. Then he finally, Khabib, in 2013, fights his first ranked opponent, who was Pat Healy, who was on a huge win streak over in Strikeforce. And he came to the UFC and he beat Jim Miller. It was a no contest. He tested positive for marijuana. But Khabib, that was Khabib's first ranked opponent that he beat. And he was ranked number 10. Then he gets RDA, who was ranked number 5 at the time. RDA really, his big win was against Cowboy, okay? And it was a 3-rounder. It was close enough. But, I mean, he won that fight, of course. But, so Khabib beat a 10th ranked guy and a 5th ranked guy. And then he's out for 2.5 fucking years. In the meantime, RDA becomes champ because he's an active fighter and he's actually out there making fights, not pulling out every fucking time. So it's like Khabib's been piggybacking off RDA's success. Because RDA was doing so fucking good, whooping everyone like Diaz, Benson Henderson, fucking, I can't even think offhand, but he was on a roll. Then he whoops Pettis, who was untouchable at the time. Whoops Pettis, he was untouchable at that time. We all know that. And now all of a sudden, Khabib beat RDA, so Khabib would have done everything RDA did, if not better, and he would beat the champion RDA. No, you gotta fucking go out there and prove it. Just because you beat a guy 2.5 years ago doesn't mean you can beat him again. You have a good chance, of course, but there's no guarantee. RDA improved tremendously since then. So, Khabib's last and only one significant big win of Khabib's career is RDA, who was ranked number 5 at the time. Number 5. Okay, he takes 2.5 years off, comes back, and fights a part-time fighter in Daryl Horcher. Part-time fighter. This guy has a fucking job on the side. He doesn't even train full-time. and it was his UFC debut with UFC jitters, an undefeated guy. He was there to lose. So that win means shit. It doesn't mean nothing. It's a glorified, sparring session. It's ridiculous. So this guy deserves a title shot? Really? Really? People look into the undefeated record way too much. It's a padded record. I don't care what anyone says. 7-0 is his real record in the UFC. And he's beat 2 ranked opponents. 2 ranked opponents who were, at the time, ranked number 10 and number 5. And if you don't understand, when you beat a fighter, it's when you beat them. How good were they when you beat them? And when he beat RDA, that was not the best RDA. He was ranked number 5. He had one good win under his belt. One really good win under his belt against Cerrone at the time, RDA did. But Pat Healy was no fucking contender. He was never a contender in the UFC. And then all the rest of Khabib's opponents were not ranked. So don't fucking tell me that this guy deserves the title shot. He has to prove it. Come back and he comes back and fights a part-time fighter and then demands a title shot. Like he deserves it. Like they owe him the title shot. No, it doesn't work that way when you're out. You're inactive. Not Dominic Cruz. He's not a former champion. Just because he beat the former champion, who's not even the champion anymore, does not mean he comes back, has one fight, and gets the title shot. It doesn't make any sense. Dominic Cruz can do that. He was the best champion that division's ever seen. Khabib has only beat 2 ranked opponents. I mean, there's so much hate to Conor, and then all these people, there are a lot of Khabib fans. There's enough Khabib fans. There's not a ton, not many mainstream, but there's enough Khabib hardcore fans that truly believe he deserves the title shot, which he obviously does not. And then a lot of them are Conor haters too, that just want to see him get the title shot over Conor or what have you, And I agree. Conor doesn't deserve the title shot over other lightweights. He hasn't deserved it, just like Khabib. But there's reasons. Conor's the face of the UFC. He generates the most money. And by the way, Conor McGregor beat Nate Diaz, who's ranked number 4 in the division. Khabib's never beat a 4th-ranked opponent. Only 5th or 10th. So, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. But honestly, the facts are the facts. I mean, Khabib, go out and fight Edson Barbosa, and then wait around for a title shot. Or, if the UFC wants to keep Khabib happy and in the mix, we'll have him fight the winner of RDA versus Ferguson. And then the winner of that can fight the winner of Edgar or Alvarez McGregor. But I think give him Barbosa and see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. But I had to put out the truth. And it's going to hurt a lot of people. People aren't going to like hearing this, but it's the reality. So it is what it is. If you liked the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMABoxingTalk1. Peace.